What's going on, everybody? I hope everyone is doing well. Game 36 in the books, and the Celtics lose. They fall here to the Indiana Pacers, the final score being 133 to 131. And right off the bat, I think we have to start backwards because the end of the game was atrocious. The refs were terrible, and I'm not one of those guys to blame the referees, but tonight, I think I have to. So let me just recap it quickly. The Celtics are coming out of a timeout with 35 seconds to go. They run a quick play for Jaylen Brown to get to his right hand, shoot a pull-up jumper, a quick one because they want a 2-for-1 opportunity. The shot doesn't fall, and to be honest, I'm not too mad about the look because Jaylen Brown had the hot hand tonight. He had 40 points on 17 for 26 shooting. TJ McConnell walks the ball down the floor, gets into a little dribble handoff with Buddy Hield, gets to the rim, gets a little baseline jumper, and he misses. Celtics grab the rebound, they outlet the ball to Jaylen Brown. He comes down the floor, gets a little mid-range baseline jumper, surrounded by 3 people. Wasn't the greatest shot in the world, but he gets fouled, right? Then Rick Carlisle, like any coach would do, uses his challenge, and then every time the replay is shown, it just emphasizes the foul on Jaylen Brown even more. In the replay, you could clearly see Buddy Hield behind Jaylen Brown. Yes, he gets some ball, but he also smacks Jaylen Brown in the back of his head with his forearm. But somehow the refs in the long, tedious review, they must have seen something different because they come out of this challenge and overturn the call. One of the confusing things about this to me is, what was the call in the first place? If you went and overturned it, what did you see in the first place that made you call the foul? Because it was clear right from the beginning that Jaylen Brown got hit in the head. Since the coach's challenge has been implemented into the game, this has to be one of the worst overturned calls. I mean, it was blatantly obvious what happened. And the other strange thing about this whole situation is, for some reason, it's not a jump ball. The ball just goes straight to Indiana. They get a side out. And listen, I understand that Nesmith grabbed the ball after Jaylen shot it, but you could clearly see in the replay Kristaps streaking in for the rebound. He hears the whistle and slows up. Just some very suspect officiating, and it's not over. As I said, Indiana has side out with about 3.2 to go. They inbound the ball to Bennedict Mathurin, and then he proceeds to get fouled on a 3-point attempt by Kristaps Porzingis, and there's really no complaints there. It was a foul. Just a strange sequence of events, but I do want to give a lot of credit to the Indiana Pacers. They put together a hell of a second half. You know, when Tyrese Halliburton went down there, which nobody wants to see, I hope he's okay. I'm sure every Celtics fan and even every Pacers fan thought this game was over. That's enough about the refs, though. I know I did say they blew this game, but what else went wrong for this Celtics team for this game to be even that close? I think we should start with the defense, and I feel like I kind of jinxed it because today I just made a short or a reel about how elite this defense is, but tonight that wasn't the case. It felt like the Pacers had the Celtics uncomfortable on that end of the ball all night. They kept switching from that zone they've been trying out to man. They never settled into anything that was really working for them. We're starting to see a little bit of a pattern of teams that really bothered the Celtics. OKC, the Pacers, those teams, it's like no matter who they have out there, even if it's the big, they're super mobile, able to move, and it bothers the Celtics, and maybe Joe has a little bit of trouble adapting. I think in these matchups we're seeing too many Cornet minutes. On the other hand, the Celtics were short tonight. You're missing your centerpiece in Jason Tatum, so the rotations are a little bit different. Joe just working with what he's got, and I think games like this one or the OKC one is exactly why Brad Stevens said he's looking for a big wing on the trade market. I think ultimately Brad will be looking for a big wing that Joe can trust. We have some, Svi, but you're obviously not going to put him in there for defensive purposes. O'Shea, who's been doing his thing, but Joe is hot and cold with him. The tricky thing about it, though, is that the Celtics are working within some restrictions. Yes, you have the Grant TPE, that's like $6 million, but who's in that salary range that's available that you trade for, that you trust more than O'Shea Brissett? The other option is you roll a bunch of those bench guys up together to try to get to that $11-12 million salary range. For a guy like Olynyk or Chris Boucher, it's tough to do though, because these end of the bench guys for the Celtics, they're not making much, so you're packaging them all up together, and then at that point you're left with like 7 guys, 8 guys, and then you're grabbing other guys off the street. So that was just a little trade tangent. We're gonna do a full trade episode as the deadline approaches. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Is there any moves that this team could make or that you want to see? But anyways, let's get back into the game. Something else that I didn't like was the late game offense. It was stuck in mud a bit. I thought Drew did a solid job of trying to keep things flowing. I actually think Drew had one of his best offensive games as a Celtic. But overall, I thought the ball just started to move too slow for the Celtics. I just feel like they didn't utilize all the weapons they have, even with JT out. I felt like Derek was a little bit uninvolved, and they went away from KP. We've seen KP and how efficient he is as a post-up player. I mean, he's in the 99th percentile. You got to utilize that more in late game offense. I think we all just want to forget this one, so let's move on to the quick hits. And yes, we have to start with Derek White. Just another slow game from him offensively. His usage has been down. I'm not sure what that's about, especially tonight with JT being out. And this is 2 out of his last 3 games, shooting about 25% from 3. And I think we all know whose fault this is. JJ Redick, Tommy Alter, it's your fault as Celtics fans. We disown you guys from the community. We are on the way to your house with pitchforks right now. We're actually here. Look outside your window. No, but honestly, it's not too much of a concern with Derek. All players go through slumps. It doesn't seem like it's a confidence thing. He's still getting the ball up there, still being aggressive. So we'll see what happens moving forward. We really didn't talk about individual performances too much. We just glossed over. Jalen had 40 and just an impressive 42. I love the shot chart. A lot of that coming from inside. 17 for 26, 65% from the field. It really feels like nobody on Indiana could guard Jalen. He just goes through everybody. Straight line drives. Nobody could push him off his spot. Last hit is Porzingis. I thought we got to see a little bit of a different side of him tonight. Finished with 19 points, 5 rebounds. What I'm focusing on is the 7 assists. That's a season high. I feel like in general, I'm impressed with his passing and his reads, but it's confusing how he's only averaging 1.7 assists on the season. And it's not a knock on him. His main job is to score and protect the rim, but maybe this team isn't utilizing all of his skills. His playmaking could be another reason to go to him in late game situations. Throw the ball in the post to him. He could see over everybody, put him at the elbow, cut off him. I don't know, just some ideas. Let's wind it down there. The Celtics lose 133 to 131 to the Indiana Pacers. They're now 28-8. They fall from the best record in the NBA to the best record in the NBA. They're still that team. I'm going to wrap it up right there. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe. It's the best and easiest way to support. I'm here after every single Celtics game, all 82 plus the playoffs. I'm not going anywhere. I will talk to you guys Wednesday, January 10th. We have a nice back-to-back coming up, Minnesota and Milwaukee. But anyway, January 10th, Minnesota, revenge game. Peace.